go ahead and use our 19mm socket and remove these lug nuts. Once the lug nuts are removed, go ahead and remove the wheel, set it aside. I'm going to go ahead and remove our brake caliper by loosening and removing this 13mm bolt, and then we're going to go ahead and remove the 13mm bolt up top. Go ahead and remove those bolts and set those aside. I'm going to go ahead and use a small pry bar and work the caliper loose. I'm going to have our caliper hanger tool ready to go. I'm going to separate this unit, hook the caliper, and I'm just going to bring it up and hang it on the spring itself to hold it up and out of the way. Let's go ahead and remove our brake pads. I'm going to go ahead and remove this caliper bracket bolt here, and then the one up top here. These are both 15mm. We're going to use a 15mm socket and a breaker bar for some additional leverage to loosen these. We're going to loosen and remove the upper bolt. Hold on to the caliper bracket so it doesn't fall on you. I'm going to rotate this up. There's actually a Torx screw right here holding this to the face of the wheel hub. Let's go ahead and remove that. Using a T30 bit, I'm going to go ahead and remove this screw here. If your vehicle does not have this screw, it is not critical to the operation. Go ahead and grab the rotor, work that off, and set it aside. And we want to go ahead and work on our caliper. We want to go ahead and remove our slide pins here. Use a pair of pliers. I want to go ahead and work these out. I want to go ahead and release this rubber boot from the slide pin here. I'm just going to use a pick. Push it off. We do not want to tear this boot. Be very careful with that. And work that boot off the rest of the way. Let's go ahead and remove that slide pin. Go ahead and repeat for the other side. Now go ahead and grab our boots, and we're going to pop those off and set those aside. Now that we have the boots off, we want to go ahead and remove our tins here, or our sliders. I'm just going to use my pick and just kind of get in behind it and kind of pop these things out. Once you have those out, let's go ahead and grab your brush here, and let's go ahead and clean this. We want to do a visual inspection, make sure there's no chunky rust, anything like that, or debris buildup. Clean it as good as you can. So now go ahead and clean our slide pins here. When cleaning these here, you want to do a visual inspection. Look for any buildup of rust, chunks of rust, debris, score marks, anything like that, because the component has to slide back and forth on this. If there's any debris or buildup, it will cause resistance and can cause issues with premature brake wear. Ours look good. I'll go ahead and repeat for the other one. I'm going to go ahead and clean out our slide ports here. Spray a little bit of solvent in there, and we're going to use our bore brush. Repeat for the other one. I'm going to go ahead and spray that out. Clean both of those ports. I'm going to go ahead and install our rubber boots. You do want to do a quick inspection of these boots all the way around. Inspect for any tears, any damage. If they are torn or damaged, you must replace these. Otherwise, it's going to allow for water, moisture, and dirt to get inside and cause our sliders to bind up, and once again, cause premature brake wear and failure. Let's go ahead and slide our boot on here. And once you get that on, repeat for the other side. I'm going to go ahead and apply some grease to our slide pin. Just a thin coating. We don't want to cake it all up there. And we'll go ahead and slide our slide pin into the caliper bracket. Work that in. Once that's in place, it'll pop the rubber boot onto the slide pin. We'll repeat for the other side. Now I'll go ahead and apply a light coating of grease right here. Take our slides, line those up. Press those down into place, make sure they're fully seated. And repeat for the other side. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to push these pistons back into the caliper itself. You want to push these pistons in until they're flush, just like so. Let's go ahead and grab our rotor and line this up, set that into place. Now we can go ahead and install our retaining screw for the rotor. If your vehicle does not have this, it is not critical to the operation of the braking system. This is just something that the factory uses to keep the rotor in place during the rest of its assembly. Let's go ahead and line up our caliper bracket. And then we'll install our lower bolt. Just line that up, get it started a few threads. We'll repeat for the top. Once those are in, we'll go ahead and snug those down. Let's go ahead and install our brake pads. I'm going to have our squeal tab right here on the top, and we're going to have a squeal tab on the top on the other side. Let's go ahead and line up our brake caliper. Slide that over the pads. We just want to work our slider pins in a little bit so we can get that caliper in and on. Once these line up, let's go ahead and get our bolts started. With both of those bolts started, let's go ahead and snug them down. Now I'm going to go ahead and torque our caliper slide pin bolts to 25 foot-pounds. And repeat the upper bolt. Let's go ahead and install our wheel. Get our lug nuts started here. Now that we have our lug nuts installed, let's go ahead and snug them all down. Let's go ahead and torque the wheels down to 103 foot-pounds.